I'm Michele. I'm 23. I play guitar, and I care a lot about fashion. By day, I stalk for Costco. By night, I play guitar and dress up and look crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome. I do that too, but I don't sell at Costco, yeah. So what is Visual K? Also restate the question when I say it.
Sure. What is Visual K? Broadly, Visual K is a movement that started around the 80s. It was really heavily based on a lot of American hair bands like Motley Crue and Kiss. Visual K is a music and fashion movement that it highlights a lot of crazy hair, crazy makeup, crazy outfits, and it's generally around the genre of alt rock, metal. It ranges pretty good, but to me it's very important, the fashion and the music aspects.
Yeah, I agree with that. How did you initially find it? How did you get into it?
How did I find Visual K? It kind of goes back. I'm very into anime, or I was very into anime as a kid, and I watched this show called Black Butler, and one of the openings one of the opening songs for the anime was a very popular Visual K band called the Gazette, and I remember their song Shiver. And I think it was 2019 or so, I was on Spotify just like catching up with a lot of J-rock, and then Shiver played, and I'm like, wait, I know this band is sick. So I really looked into them, and it blew up a huge subculture for me, and ever since then the J-rock and Visual K has been a very pivotal part of my aesthetics, my musics, my life choices. So yeah. It's been pretty cool so far.
We have the exact same origin story.
Isn't that great? That's why we're friends.
Exactly. It's like, because, I don't know, there's like the J-rock fans who find it on like, I don't know, like YouTube and shit, and then there's like us who we're in the trenches on, like dude, the fucking trenches of...
Some actual kids.
Literally, God, so horrible.
Man.
Who are your biggest inspirations? It doesn't have to just be Visual K. It could just be broadly, like,
sure.
Who inspires just like you?
Who inspires me?
Yeah.
I have a few directions. Initially, I have a twin brother named Angelo, and he plays a lot of music. He's an insanely talented blues guitarist, and although I'm not into blues like he is, I'm more into rock and metal. He's taught me so much about the instrument, and just a lot about being a person, and aesthetics too. He's pretty cool. We look nothing alike aesthetically, which is really awesome. But otherwise, aesthetics, it's pretty new. I just dyed my hair like this reddish pink. My guy Hide right there. With music and fashion, Hide's been a huge inspiration for me. Otherwise, Malice Miser, which is a very popular gothic alt-rock band. They're super cool. I take a lot of inspiration from the guitarist Mana. Otherwise, just for style of music, I take a lot of inspiration from Yngwie Malmsteen. He's this really popular, back in the 80s, Swedish shred guitarist that plays neoclassical. So a lot of Bach, Paganini, Beethoven riffs, just put onto electric guitar, and it's affected my choice of guitars. My guitar is a Hide signature model, the guy on the poster right there, with a little twist. Yngwie Malmsteen has a scalloped fretboard, which is you take the wood on the fretboard and you shave it down, so you have room where your fingers are. Normally doesn't come stock on my guitar, but I found it on this one, so it reminds me of my inspirations whenever I play. So I take a lot of inspirations from a lot of things, but I kind of pack it up and make it my own sort of weird thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that is definitely just... It's what makes you such an interesting person. Like,
Thank you.
Yeah.
As to you, man.
Yeah, dude, I try. Well, you meant I'm just gonna skip a few questions. Skip to a question
Sure.
right now, just because you mentioned Angelo is like one of your biggest inspirations.
Yeah.
How do you feel that you two have, like, how your relationship has grown through music, you know?
So, my relationship with my brother through music, it's a pretty long ride. Growing up, we played a lot of video games, and through video games, these companies hired like real composers to make these soundtracks, and I was really enamored by these dramatic, like a lot of battle music in games. And so that I feel that was our initial spark to start music. We've always had instruments around the house, so I'd noodle on guitars, play, some sort of really shitty Zelda song.
Me too. So.
Yeah. It's that whole, you find an instrument and you're curious and you noodle around in it, but it just doesn't really, it sowed the seeds for what I am today. My brother's been playing a lot longer than I have. He started back when we were in like middle school or something, and I was too busy playing video games. But now he's pretty much my teacher. We live together, and I feel music has brought us a lot closer as brothers. I'm not into the blues as much as he is, and he's not into metal as much as I am, but we share a lot of anecdotes from either one, and I learn a lot from him, he learns a lot from me, and it's like a perpetual flame that just keeps on burning, because we are our own fuels. So I feel like ultimately music has brought us together closer. So I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Sorry, I skipped, so now I'm like...
You're fine.
So, okay, Visual K, it's a lot about, like, aesthetics and stuff. How do you feel like your aesthetic influences the music that you play? Like, that's so important with Visual K. It's like,
yeah.
How does it personally, for you, how does that happen?
Sure. How does my aesthetics and Visual K influence my music? So early on, previous to my crazy hair color now, I was very into deep, dark, gothic looks, a lot of white face paint, a lot of black frizzy hair, black layered clothing. That really kicked off my want to do a lot of dramatic music, and this pull towards neoclassical. Ever since I was a kid, I've loved classical music, so it's something that's just always been in my mind. And I feel my aesthetics and the way that I dressed previously really amplified that, because it really got me in the whole mood. Because, you can listen to music and you can play music, but when you're fully enraptured in it, from like fluffy blouse, tight black pants, crazy hair, it just does something to you. It's really corny to say, but you feel like a performer. You feel like you're on stage with these guys, and it really excelled my want to know more about music and fashion, because those things in tandem it's a powerful force, and it leads me to do a lot of things in life. So I think a lot about aesthetics when it comes to music.
Yeah.
If it's not clear enough.
No, me too. Well, like, I don't know, anytime I put on like a crazy fucking outfit, I am just so... I have to film something with my bass, because it's just like, yeah, it's
you have to. You feel like one of those guys on stage.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I had like the fucking top hat and the long wig on. I was like, I am Yuki right now. I need to be Yuki right now. And then I go play Imiru, but like...
It's like a huge ego boost. You feel so powerful in the moment, because, especially when you just catch a glimpse of yourself, and it's like, wow, this is truly the message that I'm trying to
Yes, it's just a whole, like, art form that you're putting out into the world. It's not just I'm playing guitar and I'm technically talented. It's just this is a presence that you're fucking putting out there.
I feel it shows a deeper appreciation for the subculture, because you could either do one or the other. You could get really into the music aspect of it, or you could get really into the aesthetic aspect of it. And I have friends that do both. I feel like it's a whole different breed when they're brought together.
Yes, exactly.
And that's where a lot of my drive comes from. I love my aesthetics and I love my music. So being able to bring them together means a lot to me. I've met a lot of cool people through it, like you, Adrian.
Yes, dude. Thanks. I met a lot of cool people through it too. Okay. What would you say about VK? I mean, I guess we kind of touched on it in that last kind of discussion of like, it's performance, but like, what would you say sets it apart from other music? Like, why is it so different, you know?
What sets Visual K apart from other music movements? This is going to get a little personal for me.
Go for it.
I have a very feminine spelled name, Michele. It looks like a lot like Michele. And ever since I was a kid, I've always been small, not super muscular. Had very long hair. In my entire life, I was always teased about being too feminine, having too many feminine traits, going out in public with my mother and workers being like, you ladies need anything, you know, you ladies need help with anything. And around when I was 18-ish, I got so fed up with that at one point that I took a super masculine dive where I forgoed all my aesthetics and my fashion, and I'd grow a beard, I'd wear my hair into a ponytail. I didn't lose the long hair, but that's something I can't lose. But I put it into a ponytail. I was really into martial arts for a while. But after a while, I felt truly ugly. I felt, you know, this isn't the true reflection of myself. Luckily, this was around the tail end of when I started to dig back deeper into Visual K. And seeing all these guys just be handsome but also beautiful at the same time was something that spoke to my soul. So I wanted to be that. I wanted to look like that. I wanted to feel this level of androgyny. So what I feel...
Continue.
No, it's okay. Where did I leave off? Yeah, so I wanted to portray those signs of androgyny through these band men. I wanted to put it upon myself. So what I feel like separates Visual K from other genres is that pure femininity that it brings. For example, Visual K was very heavily inspired by 80s, 70s hair bands like Motley Crue, and those were a bunch of greasy, sweaty guys on, you know, shirtless on stage, and they were fashionable and they were awesome. And I love Motley Crue, but not to that same extent where I find comfort in their aesthetics or I want to look like them. You know, their music is inspiring, not their aesthetics. Visual K brings a completely different androgynous spin to music and to art, in my eyes. Lots of dresses, lots of really ornate makeup, lots of cool hairstyles that I just never really felt from other bands. So ultimately, it's that level of femininity and androgyny that Visual K pushes and is super successful with.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, do you ever feel like Japan is such a conservative country, but I feel like that toxic masculinity just isn't as much of a thing over there. Like, I feel like the beauty standard is just being very pretty for everyone, and maybe that's kind of what I feel it's like.
If you'd like to dig deep into it, Visual K was also it was during a time it was more around the 60s and 70s, but it was a precursor to this where America would force propaganda of Asian men being more feminine than American men. It was during a lot of the Red Scare. A lot of Chinese people got a lot of torment over this. I feel Visual K takes that femininity that was a point of a pain that America wanted to take advantage of. And they flipped it on their heads, you know? So what? We are feminine men. We wear it just as well, and we're proud of it. And that means a lot to me, you know? I'm not part of the culture, but it means a lot as a bystander to that. Because America and Japan have a very, very complicated history. So being able to just experience this subculture as a foreigner means a lot to me. And especially for your case, it shows you don't have to throw out every feminine aspect of your life in order to be happy.
Yes, this is so true. My camera's about to die. I'm just gonna say thank you for everything. Yes,
This is awesome to me.
Very good conversation.
I think a lot about the topics that we've talked about. I never had an outlet to talk about it.
Yes.
So I hope I provided a different outlook on things.